I'm Bill Hemmer. This is Hemmer Time. Hogan Gidley, welcome to the podcast. Good day.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the time.
Hogan is the press secretary for the Trump reelection team, formerly at the White House. You've been with the president from the beginning, I do believe, right? 2017?
That's just about right. I came in October of that first year, and Sarah Sanders, who I've known for about 19, 20 years now. I worked for her dad when he was actually governor of Arkansas and got to meet her when she was still in college. And so we were really close, and I was being put somewhere in the administration somehow. And then eventually when Sarah took over as press secretary, she called and said, "No, we're not putting you anywhere else. You need to come right over here and work with me." And I said, "Absolutely."
So she was your hookup then, so to speak, right?
Nice. Yes. In the professional sense, yes, she was.
Yeah, understood. So the Democrats have wrapped up their 4 nights. You're up. It's your turn. What does the Republican convention look like next week?
Well, it's going to be a whole lot different from the standpoint of just theme and and thought of how we view the fundamental goodness, the fundamental greatness of this country. I mean, America is the greatest idea ever realized. We are a beacon of hope, of compassion, of strength across this planet. And, that's how we believe most Americans think of America. And Democrats spent the last 4 days talking about America as inherently evil and being the cause of problems all over the world, too. And we just fundamentally disagree with that premise. And so you're going to see, quite frankly, a stark difference in the way we present not just the incredible record-setting success in record-setting time of this president, but just the inherent belief that this country is a force for good. And so I think that's going to be one of the things that jumps out most if someone got to watch the Dem convention and then flips over and sees ours.
Shape the 4 days for us. Monday is in Charlotte, correct, with a couple hundred delegates? Do I have that right?
Well, we I don't want to get too far into specifics because we're gonna kind of roll things out here as the days dictate. I know that we have the land of promise, the land of opportunity, the land of heroes, and the land of greatness. Our theme overarching is the honoring of the great American story, and there's so many incredible people across this country. Obviously, North Carolina is where we were going to have the convention early on. We're talking about having a pretty good presence there. We have surprises for everybody each day. We looked at Jacksonville, Florida, too, after the governor played a little politics with us. So we were going to have some stuff happening down there, too. And, of course, the take with the president accepting the nomination again over at the White House. Should be an incredible week. And we're looking forward to it.
Why did he settle on the White House?
Well, it's funny. I love the fact that President Trump can live rent-free in the heads of Democrats and most of the mainstream media because they don't want him speaking anywhere. They didn't like him speaking at Mount Rushmore. They pitched a fit when he spoke in the Rose Garden, and they are furious that he is going to speak at the White House. But you notice the common theme there? They just don't want him speaking anywhere because they know his message of uplifting, unifying, patriotic visions for this country really resonates with the American people. And you've seen that this week leading up to our convention. We've not been dormant. This president's been to Minnesota, Wisconsin, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and he's taken that. Yeah, Iowa. He's taken the message directly to the American people. And we believe without the filter of the mainstream media kind of to cloud what we're talking about, that it's going to prove successful for this administration and this president. And so we're looking forward to a great speech from the White House.
So I'm going to try and draw you out as best I can here. Was Gettysburg given serious thought?
I don't want to get too much into the inner workings. I can say it like this. The president, obviously, if anybody knows anything about performance or production, it's the man who had a #1 show on NBC for a decade or more. It's Donald Trump. So we looked at a lot of different places, but we settled on obviously the White House. And let's be clear, Democrats don't like that. They say we're wasting taxpayer dollars. But and I know if he got on a plane on Air Force One and went to another site, they would say, well, he's using taxpayer dollars to fly there and he's creating some type of super spreader COVID event too. I mean, it doesn't matter what he does. They hate it. And so when we looked at a couple of options, we just felt it best that the president stay right there at the White House and deliver the speech.
Okay, so
from home.
I'm listening to the message, and what you're telling us is that there's going to be a clear contrast between Democrats and Republicans in their message. You're going to be 70 some odd days away from the election. Can you describe the convention? I mean, it's COVID times, right, Hogan? A lot of things are changing by the hour and by the day. Is this still coming together?
It's close to finality. I don't want to, again, get too far ahead because this is something the president wants to announce and discuss. But it's pretty close. There's not too many more things to do, but dot a couple of I's and cross a couple of T's. But it looks really good, and we're excited about unveiling it for the American people.
I'm in television, so I look a lot of this stuff with a producer's eye, and I know you're not, but from a technical standpoint, what did you learn watching the Democrats this week?
Well, I was a television news reporter and anchor before I got into politics, so I have somewhat of an eye of making sure things look right as well. I think I don't want to get too much into the production of it because, I saw a lot of Zoom calls. I saw a lot of folks, we put out a picture, I guess it was yesterday, of all the clapping after one of the speeches, and there were duplicates. In the same shot, there were 3 people duplicated to make it look like there were more people. Things like that we saw that obviously we didn't like. There are some thought processes on our side when we look and see the Democrats, how it had dragged along a little bit. It was quite boring, according to, quite frankly, members of the mainstream media. And so, we want to make sure people are engaged and that people are informed. That's really probably 2 of the most important things for us, because the president does have a pretty strong record at 3 years in office. And we want to get that message out to the American people clearly and succinctly as possible.
How much could be virtual? Do you know that yet?
Again, I know you are trying to draw me out.
Yeah,
this is very impressive.
It's my job.
I know. Look, there'll be parts of it virtual, of course, for obvious reasons. But we're trying to do as much stuff in person and live as we can. The feel's better, the excitement's better, and if we can do it safely, we're going to make sure that it's done. Because, look, it's all about getting engagement. It's all about ginning up excitement and enthusiasm. And when we have our social media platforms receiving more than 1.1 billion views already in this campaign, that tells you people want to see it and want to watch what we're doing. And so as we lead up to the start, we want to keep that momentum going. We want to take some of the things we've learned in our digital shows and duplicate that. We want to take things we learned from the Democrat convention and learn from those too. And that's the benefit of going second. You get to see what the other side has, the best they have to offer. It wasn't great. And so we want to make people, really appreciate not just the production value, the folks like you who understand it, but it's all about getting out information.
Yeah, I know you're pitching your side and your story, and I just want to put that aside for a moment here. From your standpoint, if night 1 and night 2 was off 6 million viewers from 4 years ago, what does that tell us about how people are accessing these events?
Well, we'll wait and see what the ratings do here. I would obviously argue that, there was a large boring factor to a lot of it. If you want to know the truth, I think that's part of it. I think they don't have a really good product to sell either. Joe Biden's been in political office for half of a century. I mean, 50 years of elected office. I still don't know what qualifies him to be president. I watched it the entire time, and basically they had 2 themes. One was Donald Trump's horrible. Okay, well, we got that based on a fake impeachment and a phony Russian witch hunt. You guys don't like him. We understand. I mean, 95% of the news coverage on him is negative, so I get it. But also the second thing they've been pushing is Joe Biden's a nice guy. Great. I know a lot of nice guys. I know a lot of nice girls. It doesn't mean they should be president. My granddad was a great guy. Didn't want him sitting behind the Resolute desk. So we're seeing what they are putting out there. We're going to kind of do some comparing and contrasting because, after all, elections at their core are about choices. And we think it's incumbent upon us to make sure that in order to get excitement and to keep numbers up and keep people engaged and keep people watching, you've got to deliver a product that they actually want to see. That includes the production, but also the candidate himself.
For the full podcast, go to foxnewspodcast.com.